You are already in lawful possession of your own education and your own knowledge. But it actually belongs to you. It doesn't belong to other people. Unless, of course, we're talking about intellectual property, which means something entirely different, right? Your knowledge, your education, that belongs to you. You already paid for it. You've already obtained it. You've already invested time and energy to have ownership over that education. And so everything that you do with that knowledge, okay, should be in service of your own potential. You should be converting it for your own use. You should be converting it in order to be a creator rather than a consumer. All right? And so I would like to offer you a framework that I think can help you internalize this a little more. And it's to think like an entrepreneurial lawyer, right? So that you are maximizing the benefit of your education. And so what does it really mean to think like an entrepreneurial lawyer? Well, let me break this down one by one, okay? So when we're thinking about what it means to think like a lawyer, ultimately, when you are thinking like a lawyer, you are thinking about the rules, right? You are becoming well-versed in all of the rules. You are mastering the rules. And not only this, you are mastering the exceptions to the rules. And that is important for very pointed reasons. You are treating every life scenario, right, as a scope, as a parameter, right? What is legal here? What is the norm here, right? What is the issue? What is the rule? How am I analyzing this? What do I conclude? And what does this mean for my next steps? Where is the evidence to say that I can or cannot do something? What are those rules? What are those exceptions? Okay, so you're always looking at legal precedent, right? You're always looking at laws. You're always looking at norms. You're always asking yourself, well, what can I do and what can't I do? And who says so? What jurisdiction am I in? What time am I in? Now, when you are thinking like an entrepreneur, right, you are thinking about actually how to circumvent those rules. You are thinking about how to think outside of the box, right? Maybe you're aware of the parameters, but then you're asking yourself, well, actually, how do I cultivate value that solves a problem, right? And that veers beyond the rules a little bit to create something new, to create new precedent. How am I championing what I believe in? How am I building something new? How am I building new structures that I can invite everyone to share in and to create alongside me? And so when you're thinking like an entrepreneurial lawyer, you are mastering this duality, right? You're not only becoming aware of the rules around you, the norms around you, but you're also saying, well, how do I make them work in service of myself so that I can be the change, right, that I want to be? But here's an even more specific framework, right, for you to help internalize this. Let's get a little bit more practical. When you are thinking like an entrepreneurial lawyer, you look at everything like you're running a business, right? And now you're thinking about how to protect that business. And what are businesses fundamentally? They are vehicles, right, for creating value outputs. They are vehicles for solving people's issues. And now you want to say, well, what is my moat? How do I protect that? This is where your lawyer brain, kicks into gear. But even better, when you're thinking like an entrepreneurial lawyer, the business, right, that you are creating, that you are thinking of, and that you want to protect, that business is you. That business is you. You have to treat yourself like the business. You have to ask yourself, well, what is my value add? What do I contribute? What am I good at? What are my strengths? What are my talent? As in any business, you have to figure out branding. You have to figure out how to market your services, right? You are communicating value to everyone else. And you are asking yourself as a business, right? If you are the business, you're asking yourself, well, how do I brand myself? How do I market? How do I reach people? How do I cultivate relationships? How do I maximize my social relationships so that people can know about my business? How do I engage in partnerships? What am I building? What am I creating? Where do my talents lie? What am I good at? What am I not good at? What is my system of self-governance? What is my mission? What are my rules? What are my non-negotiables? Right? What is comfortable for me? What is uncomfortable for me? What am I willing to learn in order to make sure that my business, or rather I as the business, I am optimizing, I am maximizing, I am being strategic. I am creating change in real time.